Emma Collins was a 26-year-old waitress at a cozy diner on the outskirts of Chicago. She had been working at Joe's Diner for 3 years, a place that smelled of fresh coffee and warm pancakes. The diner wasn't much: faded red booths, a jukebox that rarely worked, and a flickering open sign in the window, but it was a home of sorts. Emma's days were filled with bustling shifts where she greeted regulars by name, served meals with a friendly smile, and cleaned tables long after closing time. But Emma's life outside the diner wasn't easy. She lived in a modest apartment with her 8-year-old brother Danny. Their parents had passed away in a car accident 5 years ago, leaving Emma to step into a role she hadn't been ready for. She worked tirelessly to keep a roof over their heads and ensure Danny could go to school. Despite her struggles, Emma carried herself with grace and kindness. She believed in small acts of good, even if the world didn't seem to notice. One rainy evening, as the storm lashed against the windows, Emma finished her late shift. She wiped her hands on her apron and glanced out at the near-empty diner. Only a few regulars remained, sipping coffee and chatting quietly. As Emma stepped outside to take out the trash, she noticed a man sitting in a car parked across the street. The sleek black vehicle stood out against the dimly lit street. The man seemed to be staring at the diner. She shrugged it off and returned inside. The next morning, Emma's day started like any other. She tied her hair into a ponytail, slipped on her uniform, and walked Danny to school before heading to the diner. The rain had cleared, leaving behind a crisp, cool breeze. Around mid-morning, the bell above the door jingled. A man in a tailored suit stepped in, his polished shoes tapping against the tiled floor. Emma noticed him immediately. He didn't look like the typical diner customer. His neatly combed dark hair and sharp features gave him an air of sophistication. He scanned the room briefly before choosing a booth in the corner. Emma grabbed her notepad and approached him with her usual friendly demeanor. "Good morning," she said. "What can I get for you?" The man smiled faintly. "Just coffee, please, and maybe the special." Emma nodded and jotted down his order. As she walked away, she couldn't help but feel his eyes following her. She brushed off the odd feeling and went back to work. Throughout his meal, the man barely spoke, but he observed everything. Emma's interactions with the customers, the way she helped a young mother calm her fussy child, and how she made sure the elderly couple at the corner table had everything they needed. When the man finished, he left a generous tip, far more than the cost of his meal. Emma was surprised, but assumed he was just another kind-hearted stranger. She didn't know that this was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, the man became a regular at the diner. His name, she learned, was Nathan Carter. He was polite but reserved, rarely sharing much about himself. Emma found his presence comforting, though she couldn't understand why he kept returning to such a simple place. One evening, as the diner was about to close, Nathan stayed behind. The two of them were alone as Emma wiped down the counter. "Emma," he said, breaking the silence, "I've been watching you." Emma froze, her hand clutching the damp cloth. "Watching me?" she asked, her voice cautious. Nathan nodded. "Not in a bad way. I've seen how hard you work, how much you care for the people around you. Most people overlook that kind of kindness, but I noticed." Emma didn't know how to respond. She felt exposed, as though someone had peeled back the layers of her life. Before she could speak, Nathan continued. "I haven't been honest with you," he admitted. "I'm not just a businessman passing through. I'm the CEO of Carter Industries." Emma's jaw dropped. Carter Industries was one of the largest tech companies in the world. She had heard Nathan's name before in the news, always associated with billion-dollar deals and high-profile ventures. "I don't understand," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Why are you here?" Nathan smiled softly. "Because I wanted to see what true goodness looks like. You've inspired me, Emma." Nathan's words left Emma reeling. She didn't know what to make of his confession, but before she could fully process it, he handed her an envelope. "Open this later," he said, "and remember, kindness has a way of coming back to you." Nathan left the diner that night, leaving Emma with more questions than answers. When she finally opened the envelope, she found a check for $100,000. Her hands trembled as she read the note enclosed. "This is for you and Danny. Use it to chase your dreams. Thank you for reminding me what really matters." Emma was overwhelmed. She wanted to return the money but had no way of contacting Nathan. Unsure of what to do, she decided to save the money for Danny's future while continuing to work at the diner. Months passed and life carried on. Emma worked tirelessly, though Nathan's generosity had eased some of her burdens. She had begun to dream again of opening her own cafe where people could find warmth and comfort, just like the diner had been for her. One evening, as Emma walked home from the diner, a familiar black car pulled up beside her. Nathan stepped out, his expression serious but kind. "I've been thinking about you, Emma," he said, "and I realized something. I want to invest in you, not just with money, but with a chance to make your dreams come true." Emma was speechless. Nathan handed her a folder containing plans for a cafe, complete with a deed to a small property downtown. He had already secured everything. "This is your chance," he said. "You've worked so hard for everyone else. Now it's time to do something for yourself." With Nathan's help, Emma opened her cafe. It became a haven for the community, a place where people from all walks of life felt welcome. She offered free meals to those in need, just as she had always dreamed. Danny thrived in school, and Emma finally felt a sense of stability she hadn't known in years. Nathan visited often, not as a billionaire, but as a friend. Their bond grew deeper, built on mutual respect and admiration. Emma realized that her kindness had not only changed her own life, but had also inspired someone who seemed to have everything. Emma's story was a testament to the power of compassion. She had no idea who was watching her that rainy evening, but her simple act of kindness had set into motion a series of events that would transform her life forever. And as she stood behind the counter of her bustling cafe, watching Danny help a customer, Emma knew one thing for certain: kindness truly could change the world. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you'd like to show some extra love, tap the 3 dots near the share button and send a super thanks.